Hey guys, Steve Trevor here. I've stated in multiple videos before that I think that PWI is kind of a joke. For those who don't know, it's Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Because typically they don't really rank wrestlers in terms of actual talent, like in terms of actual wrestling ability or even mic skills, which I don't always put a lot of stock in, not always, but I don't know, sometimes. But they really just rank wrestlers based on like title reigns and just how many wins they've got and everything. So it's I don't know. It's really just from I guess a booking standpoint that they really rank the wrestlers. But I think it's kind of a joke. But I still think it's kind of interesting to talk about the wrestlers that they decided to nominate as number one and all that kind of stuff. So it's just interesting to talk about from time to time and get my opinions on. But so yeah, found out today that PWI 50, the PWI female 50, which I think is bullshit because I think that there are far more than 50 female wrestlers out there. I think they should increase that number. But just my opinion. But apparently they made Charlotte the number one female wrestler in the PWI female 50. And I can see that. Like I can see why, like by their standards, like by their own standards, why they picked Charlotte because she was champion at the beginning of the year when the Divas Championship was still a thing. She was champion at the beginning of the year. She became the very first well, not the very first women's champion. There was a women's champion before, but the very first new WWE women's champion at WrestleMania, and she's went on to have 3 title reigns with the title already, which wasn't supposed to happen because obviously Sasha was supposed to win it and probably hold it for a while, but she got injured twice. Well, she got injured in the first match. The second match, I think she got injured during the match, but I heard that she's not actually injured. Whatever. Anyways, you get what I mean. So I guess it would make sense by their standards as to why they would make Charlotte the number one female wrestler of the year for this year. As far as my own opinion, well, and the fact that she's pretty much been the top female wrestler in the women's division in WWE for pretty much the past year. I mean, love it or hate it, I know some people don't like Charlotte very much, but yeah, I mean, just going by my own opinions, I actually don't have much of a problem with this, because I like Charlotte. I'm a fan of Charlotte. I'm not saying she's my most favorite female wrestler of all time or anything, but but I'm still a pretty big fan of her. She's improved in a really short amount of time. She improved a lot on NXT in a really short amount of time, and even since she's been brought up, even when she was brought up to the main roster a year ago, even from then she's improved so much. In terms of wrestling ability, her mic skills have gotten so much better, in my opinion. I know a few weeks ago she was cutting a promo, because to be honest, I hadn't really been watching WWE a whole lot. Like I've been watching on and off. I didn't start watching like full time again until like back in June. But I really hadn't heard talk on the mic that much since I'd heard talk on the mic last. And the last time I heard talk on the mic, it wasn't that great. But when she got in the ring, she started cutting her promo. I was like, well, goddamn. I mean, this is actually a really good promo. Like, this is really convincing to me. Like, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this promo. She's doing a really good job. And I think that's probably due to the fact of her turning heel because I think it seems like she's more comfortable as a heel than a face. And clearly being a heel suits her much better than her being a face. But I just remember thinking, wow, I mean, she's gotten a lot better on the microphone because I'm really enjoying this promo. I think this is a damn good promo. But yeah, I mean, I think she's gotten better on the microphone, better at the wrestling. I think she's been doing some of her best work for the past few months as far as like her heel work and just wrestling and mic skills in general, just everything. So I think she's been really killing it. And honestly, like I might get some shit for this, but honestly, she's been more impressive to me than Sasha Banks. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just really how I feel. Like, but I want to do a separate video on Sasha Banks because that's another topic I want to talk about, because I kind of have some strong opinions on that right now. But yeah, so you know, I don't have a problem with this. I mean, it would have made more sense. I mean, if I was doing it, I probably would have had Sasha Banks be number one because, she's clearly the most popular female wrestler right now. She's accomplished a lot. She won the women's title twice, even though they were both very short reigns. But but she's clearly, the next big thing, the next big face. So, and she's probably the most over female wrestler that they have with the fans anyway. So, I think it would have made more sense to, in the fans' eyes at least, to have her be number one. Would have made a bit more sense to me too. I know she was number two, so she came very, very freaking close, but didn't quite get it. Hopefully, maybe next year, she can keep the momentum going and get number one spot. But yeah, so I don't have a problem with this. I kind of like it, honestly. Kind of like the fact that Charlotte got number one. And yeah, so, and another thing, I've heard people say this. People will say that, oh, Charlotte only got him because of her dad, and I won't disagree with that. Like that does have some truth to it, because I would say that Ric Flair being her dad certainly helped her along, but I also like to judge from what I see, from what I see in her matches, stuff like that. I like to judge from what I see, what I think of her as a wrestler. Just forget the fact that her dad is Ric Flair. I judge from what I see, from her, and her alone. And what I've seen, I've been impressed with. I mean, like I've said, shown huge amounts of improvement, and just Ric Flair being her dad didn't do that. I mean, she did that herself. She improved a lot in a short amount of time. She's been killing it lately with, with her matches and her promos. She's gotten a lot better, and she's only been at this for 4 years. 4 years. I'd say she's greatly surpassed, any other female wrestler that had that experience, Usually wrestlers, I mean, each wrestler improves at their own pace, but I'd say most wrestlers at 3 or 4 years are probably still finding their niche and still improving. I'm not saying Charlotte still, has stopped improving or whatever, but I'm just saying that, compared to a lot of other wrestlers, I mean, she's improved a lot, and, she's a natural, but anyways, that's what I think about the whole, when people say, oh, she only got in because of, her dad, Ric Flair. I mean, again, I'm not saying that doesn't have some truth to it, because it does, but at the same time, like I said, I like to judge from what I actually see from herself, and, from what I've seen, I've been impressed with for a while. So, Ric Flair probably helped her get in, but I'd say that from the rest of the way there, she did it herself, So, but that's just my opinion, as always. But yeah, so, let me know what you think. How do you feel about this? Are you angry? Are you happy? Are you in between? I mean, how do you feel about it? Yeah, so that's it for this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.